Hello everybody, this is NASCAR, and I thought for this video I would explain my story with the PS3, how I got to where I am now, and how I dove into the rabbit hole of the yellow light of death. I hope you guys enjoy this video. So to start this story, we need to go way back.
November 17th, 2006. The 20 gigabyte PlayStation 3 will retail for...
No, not that far back. Okay, that's better. Back in 2020, when the coronavirus came around, people were fighting over toilet paper. Everything was shut down. People were trying to buy as much hand sanitizer as possible. And I was just stuck at home in college trying to figure out what the heck to do because all my classes went online. But because all my classes basically were canceled, I got bored. I wanted to explore retro games, and I looked into getting a PS3. And at the time, I was not aware of what models were best. So I just got an H01 because I liked the look of it, and I got it from eBay for about $70 with the game, Burnout Paradise. It was a great console, but it was very dirty. So I decided to clean it up and put new thermal paste on it, and I loved using the console. But as a kid, I grew up with an Xbox 360, so I missed out on what the PS3 had to offer. I never did play Burnout Paradise before, so I wanted to try it out, as I was a huge fan of Burnout Revenge, as well as Burnout 2 and 3. And I don't know why, but the remaster of Burnout Revenge, the HD version, never got ported to PS3, which stinks, but it's fine. But I was having so much fun. What the hell happened? Why is it flashing red? Maybe it overheated or something? I thought I just repasted it, but let me try turning it back on. Huh. Well, maybe I did something during the cleaning process? So I decided to open up the console to see what was going on, and I have no idea how I missed that the first time. Whoever opened it before me replaced the capacitors that were there before with these yellow capacitors that are both too big, so they were touching the metal shield and barely even soldered down. I don't know if you can see this, but their tape is holding them down. I don't know how this thing even booted, considering the ground isn't even soldered. At this point, I was still a novice at best when it came to soldering. I had just bought my T12, and I was still doing some practice on my own, and had not planned on fixing this console as, again, I bought it used. I did resolder the caps, but unfortunately it still wouldn't turn on, it still gave a yellow light of death. At this point, the console was 3034, but at the time the Syscon had not been cracked yet, and nobody knew how to do the error logs on them, and I still wasn't even aware of what the token fix was, so this was technically my first instance of seeing the token fix being done. Unfortunately, I ended up scrapping the board, and then just took a break from PlayStation 3s for about 6 months, and eventually just bought a slim PS3 for about $20, which somehow ended up working fine, so I just used that as my main unit. That was until 2021, when I was scrolling through eBay one day and saw a listing for a CECH A01 for about $60. At the time, I didn't know this console was special. I just thought it was any ordinary PS3. It was reported as having no video output at all, and at the time I thought, what a great opportunity to practice replacing an HDMI port, as I was trying to expand my soldering skills. But looking at it today, I am glad it wasn't actually the green light of death. I would be in a loophole. Basically, the green light of death is typically caused by a BGA defect under cellular RSX, or it can be caused by a defective GPU. But at the time, I didn't know this, so I made my purchase and waited for the A01 to arrive. About a week later, the console arrived with a lot of packaging on it, oddly enough, as I don't usually see that on eBay. But I turned it on, and wait, it worked? I was very confused now. My personal thoughts now are that the seller got it and didn't know that you had to reset the video on the console when you switched between AV and HDMI. But anyways, I was very happy it was just working. I didn't expect it to just work, but sometimes you just get lucky with eBay. I decided to use it as my main unit, and so I went through the process of disassembling it and replacing the thermal paste as well as all the thermal pads with the correct size. And at the time, I was not aware of the 90nm RSX bump gate issue and was still not aware of what the yellow light of death meant. I used my console for about 3 to 5 months and was loving the games I had bought during that time. I had transferred all of my saves from my slim PS3 to the A01 so that I could keep playing my games on that console. One day though, I was about to play Fallout 3 and my PS3 froze with green artifacts on screen after boot up. At the time, I was not sure what to think of this. It went away after a reboot, so I thought maybe it was nothing and just some glitch with my HDMI port or maybe my TV since I was still using an old TV. But what was really going on is I was just suffering from GPU failure and didn't even realize it. This was only the beginning of my loophole. I then saw a video by Mystic where he did a bunch of modifications to his PS3 and oh my god. Well, I know I was not going to drill holes into my shell, thank goodness, but I did get the fan potentiometer mod that he used and did drill a hole in the back of my PS3 for it since it was an external control. I was still on original firmware at this point because at the time the toolset website was not available and there were several server issues that were being addressed, so the only option was hen, and I absolutely hate hybrid firmware because it just doesn't work half the time. But I then put the PS3 back together, and about 30 minutes of gameplay I started smelling smoke, and then I got the yellow light of death. I thought, that's strange. What did I do wrong? Yes, NASCAR, what the hell did you do? My guess is when I was assembling it, I didn't pay attention to the fact that the wire got crushed under the metal shield. My bad. I was able to reroute the trace to the nearby capacitor as it had burned the motherboard and the fan would no longer work. I was able to fix it, and I was concerned that it may happen again. Thankfully it didn't, and things went fine after that. By now I had played a lot of games but didn't finish them. I was becoming addicted to Mafia 2. I don't know what it was about this game, but I really enjoyed playing it. I was in the middle of playing it, and I had made a lot of progress, but then my screen just froze. No artifacts, no yellow light of death, it just froze. I couldn't use my controller, and I couldn't get into the XMB. I had no clue what the heck happened, and I didn't know what to do, so I ejected my game, but it was still frozen on that screen. I had tried everything I could, but I had to use a forced shutdown using the power rocker in the back. And if your console freezes, by the way, don't use the power rocker like I did. Just hold the power button and the console will eventually shut down. So after I turned the console off, I decided to reboot and the artifacts were back. This time even worse than before. At least the last time I could make it to the actual XMB. But at this time, I was just stuck on a boot screen. Come on, man. I kept thinking maybe the GPU was somehow getting too hot, and that's why I was having this issue. It's funny though, I was somewhat on the right track. The GPU has an underfill where it starts becoming soft at 70 Celsius, but in this case, I know the temps were below that. So I think I just had GPU issues already, and that they were just getting worse with each thermal cycle I was putting on it. This kept going on for a month where I would play a game, it would freeze, it would artifact, etc, and I was starting to get really freaking sick of it. I kept opening up, and at one point I just even deleted the RSX because I thought it was just getting that hot and repasted the VRAM. Now, saying this, I realized just how crazy I sounded with this red herring back then, but one day unfortunately my luck ran out. The yellow light of death on my A01. Great. I thought I did everything right. So what was going on? At this time, I believe my console was throwing 3034, but I was not aware of it and did not know that there was an error code system on the PS3. I was looking around for ways to get it fixed, and I found a shop called You Break I Fix. They should be called You Break I Destroy, considering the work I've seen from them since then. But, anyways, I went to their shop and dropped my console off for repair. I waited and waited and waited and waited, and waited. Okay, what was going on? I had heard nothing from them after 2 weeks, so I decided to give them a call and asked, "Where's my console? What is going on?" The agent then responded with,
"Let me go check on it for you."
I should note this agent left me on hold for over an hour, which is ridiculous considering I had to sit on the phone with them the whole time. And where I was for a vacation, it was illegal to not use hands-free calling, and you couldn't hold your phone up to your head, so I couldn't even leave to go get stuff done. I had to wait there the whole time, which, if you're gonna put a customer on hold for an hour, at least have a callback option so that the person will call you back instead of making you sit on the phone with them. The agent finally came back and said,
"Sorry, we were unable to fix your console. We had our technician look at it 10 days ago, and he deemed it unrepairable. So they sent it back to us, and we just got it back last week. You can come pick it up whenever you can."
I was in disbelief. They took my console for 2 weeks and didn't bother to tell me that they were holding it because their so-called technician deemed the console unrepairable? I was very doubtful of the technician's abilities. I then went to pick up my console, and then, after I inspected it, I could already tell they had not even taken a look at it. The warranty sticker I had put on there because I was planning on selling it was intact, and I was just shocked. They didn't even open it. I don't think I need to say this, but if you're going to take someone's console for repair, don't deem it unrepairable unless you take a look at the board, and if you are, at least have the courtesy to tell the customer that it is ready for pickup. 0 out of 10, would not recommend. So it looks like at this point, I was on my own. That is when I stumbled across the NEC token thread. Like most users, I just read the first post, followed the guide, and decided to give it a shot, since there were a lot of positive results. But this was due to people replacing them using heat, and then just seeing it turn on, and posted their results, saying, "Oh look, it works." But I should note that using heat to remove tokens is not a good idea. The amount of thermomechanical stress the board experiences from this is never good, and you will not be able to remove the tokens anyway using just hot air, as the PlayStation 3 was very good at dissipating heat across the whole board. During this time, I was just being cheap and didn't want to order the yellow AVX 470 microfarad caps. So I just grabbed some electric lighted caps I had on hand, which does work, but I don't recommend it. I just couldn't use the Blu-ray drive because they were sticking out so much. But I assembled the console enough to test it, and it worked. Why wouldn't it? But my PS3 was on, so I placed an order for the caps and got them installed. I never did publicly post my success, and I just kept playing on my PS3 thinking I fixed the yellow light of death permanently, and that will never happen again. Oh, how wrong I was. I went about 3 more months with the A01 and had finished playing Mafia 2. I started playing Blur since I used to own it back in 2013 and had a lot of fun with it. But, as you can tell, I am by far from a good driver in this game, but who cares? I was just having fun. It's frozen again. Why is it frozen again?
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
What was happening? I thought I fixed my issue with the tokens. I know my soldering was fine, and there was no way it could just desolder itself from just the heat. I repasted it again, yes, again, and turned it back on, and it started up fine. Placed for the rest of the day, oddly enough. But unfortunately, on Christmas morning 2022, I received the worst present any PS3 owner could see. The artifacts were back? Yes, unfortunately they were. At this point, I was over it. The so-called token fix was a fake. This just makes no sense. Why were so many people getting positive results? I decided to do some more research, and that's when I stumbled across a video from a user who goes by Rip Felix about the yellow light of death. I decided to watch it, and I learned a lot, and then learned how to do Syscon diagnostics. I bought the FT232 serial adapter, along with some Arduino wires, so that I could solder to the motherboard. I got the logs, and sure enough, I had A040 3034. And looking on the dev wiki, it was in fact GPU failure. And considering the symptoms I was having, I was not shocked at all. So at this point, I knew the Frankenstein mod would be the only true fix for my PlayStation 3. So I looked around and found a repair technician who goes by the name Computer Booter, who does the mod for $600? That's a lot of money. And considering I'm a college student, I would have to fork out a decent amount. But in his defense, there's a lot of work and prep that needs to be done to these boards. So I called him to get it all set up, and I got my console sent to him. But he does also stream the repairs, so I decided to watch as he fixed my console.
Oh, he broke the Blu-ray drive connector's broken. Oh, he did actually replace some. He put them backwards, though. That's not good. Not a good idea. That could have fried it. Those are backwards. They're supposed to have the positive side, which is this, out towards the outside.
In my defense, I thought the mark was ground, like on an electrolytic cap, but oh well.
That's my gift to you. He sent me a freaking booter bomb.
Yeah, my bad. I should have known better, but to be fair, actually I have no excuse for this. What the heck was I thinking?
Flow, my friends, flow. Perfect. Let's do it. 87, here she goes. Boop. Oh, that's nice. That's real nice. What is it? 361, 82, 80, 191. Here we go. Hold your boots. Bam, son!
Yeah, baby! Reballing is bullshit. Reballing is crap. Reballing is not repair. 99% of the time, I mean 99% of the time, reballing is not repair.
Come on, girl. Give it to me. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. Oh yeah, the other clamp. That's funny. Alright, let's shut her down. Fan's actually running kind of high. I don't have the adapter plugged in. Huh, I don't know why. Temps are awesome. Oh, I froze.
That would be my luck, wouldn't it? Just to have it freeze like that. Thankfully, it was just a hard drive that needed to be checked, but since it was a 1TB variant, it took a very, very, very long time. But after it did that, it worked fine. Well, except for this weird...
Alright, here we go. Yeah, probably tomorrow at some point, Sean, yeah. Aw, you fucking bastard. Oh, you know what? Oh, it's overheating. It works, but Wait, do you have your fan run at like 1,000,000% on PS2 games? Why the hell is it doing that? Jesus Christ, man. I turned it off, but damn.
If I'm being honest, what I think happened is maybe the thermal pad wasn't on the PS2 chip, so it was just getting too hot, causing the fan to go to 100%. To this day, I'm still not sure what happened, but he did do a full stress test on the console using The Last of Us over 3 days with thermal cycling, and it's been an absolute tank ever since. But after this, I thought to myself, I could learn a lot from these people being in this Discord server. So I went out of my way to learn everything I can from people like Rip Felix and others. I have accumulated some PS3s. Okay, a lot of PS3s. Don't judge me. But I was going to do some BGA rework, but then eventually gave that idea up as I became too busy with school to do it. But anyways, that has been my journey with the PS3. It's been a long journey over the past 2-3 years, and I have learned a lot since then, and I hope I shared my experiences with you guys, and I hope you guys just enjoyed this video, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace out.